welcome to Hometown Happenings. I'm here today with Vernell Roberts, and he is the General Manager of Detroit Lakes Public Utilities. And we're here today because, well, winter is upon us, and I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. The epidemic, frozen pipe epidemic we had around Detroit Lakes and all over the country last year.
Right.
I mean, I don't think there was ever really outcome as to why, other than being super cold, that it happened. But
Well, that's pretty much it. You know, you take a look at last year's weather. It got cold pretty early in October, and we really in October we only had 1 or 2 days that got above 50 degrees after about the 12th of October. So we went into November and we're kind of behind on weather temperatures. And November got cold, and then December it got really cold. And the first week of December went to 20 below, and I'm not sure if it warmed up much other than a couple days until we got into March. I mean, we had an abnormally cold winter, and that abnormally cold winter just started driving the frost down. You know, it went down early and it went down fast, and when we kind of started getting some inclination that the frost was really deep was about the middle of February. And then I went on to MnDOT's website and started tracking frost conditions across Minnesota. And the closest site they have to us is in Otter Tail, and their soil conditions are very, very close to ours. So I watched that, and we were at 8 foot of frost the middle of February. And that's historically, I looked at that historical data over the last 10 years when I talked to some other people about this, and we'd never seen frost go that deep the prior 10 years in record keeping from MnDOT's website. So it started early, it went long, and it was brutal. We never got any relief. And it just drove the frost down deeper than normal. And it was all across Minnesota into Iowa. Everybody was suffering from problems. And we went back into our records, and we went back 30 years and found that we may have had one time in the early 80s where we had similar conditions, but it was just an abnormal year.
so, and it affected all sorts of pipes, whether they were new or older pipes in that
Yeah,
city.
age really didn't make any difference. It was non-discriminatory to age. It's just the condition, the frost conditions. And, you know, we tried looking at it. Was it abnormal moisture? Was it wet? Was it dry? Was it covered? Was it not covered? And we just started looking at the data, and it just simply because it was so cold for so long.
Did anything really change because of that that occurrence? I mean, like you said, it was probably 30 years, if not the first time that this has happened in the area where so many people, and around the country, that so many people were affected by freezing pipes.
Now, our design criteria for water systems is typically to put water at 8 feet, and then a few years ago they started looking at, well, why don't we just start putting it down at 9 feet because of the sand and the soil conditions we have here. So we went down to 9 feet, and it really doesn't make any difference. We can't change our design criteria for an anomaly in the weather. A lot of that because it adds to the cost of construction. It adds to the cost of hookups when the customer hooks up to the system. And with our water table the way it is here, we're dewatering everything anyway. It becomes cost prohibitive to go any deeper than 9 feet. And normally, we're plenty good. Our normal frost conditions historically is in that 4.5 to 5 foot range. Just when we get into abnormal year, we're vulnerable, and so is everybody in Minnesota and the upper Midwest.
All right, Vernell Roberts is the General Manager of Detroit Lakes Public Utilities. We're talking about the frozen pipe epidemic of last year, and going into this year, we've got snow already in November. Not quite the cold temperatures, although they are pretty cold. But we're going to talk also, Vernell, I asked you to maybe give some precautions that people may be taking, some of the things that you did to remedy last year's pipe freeze as well.
Well, what we're talking to people about now and early is start taking the water temperature. You know, let's watch the weather conditions, and we're watching it on a daily basis. I went to the MnDOT website and checked frost conditions. There is no frost showing on the roadways yet, so we're still okay. We're not getting behind already. And NOAA's weather forecast for this winter is above normal temperatures, and I checked that again today, and they're still saying December, January, and February can be above normal temperatures. And I met with some people last summer to talk about the conditions and what we can do to be ahead of the game this year. And just start watching the water temperature. And you really don't have to start watching it until late January and early February. And check our website. You know, if you're on Facebook, check Detroit Lakes Public Utilities Facebook site. And we'll give you a heads up. If we start seeing the conditions change and water temperatures dropping, we'll start giving people notice to start, watching the water temperature. And then we'll take it on a case-by-case basis. We've got to help people out, keep them from freezing up. We're going to be a lot more proactive this year because last year it caught everybody off guard last year, and we just don't want to get behind the 8 ball this year.
All right, and you don't check the Farmer's Almanac either. You go, no.
Everybody's told me that. Everybody's told me the Farmer's Almanac. Okay. I watched NOAA's website. I got a lot of confidence in NOAA's. The new report comes out for the next quarter. The next 3 months comes out at the end of this week. I'm going to check that again. And if NOAA changes it, I will retract all my statements, and it may be different. But the one thing we know about the weather, come the 1st of May, we'll know what the winter of 2014-15 was like.
Okay, and I know if they're not gone already, a lot of snowbirds head south and obviously turn off their water, or...
Actually, the snowbirds that do it on a consistent basis are very good. They'll get a hold of their plumber. They'll actually what's called blowing back the water system. They'll blow it back, they'll airlock it, they'll cap it off, and we'll put an air chamber between the water main and their house. And we've never had a problem with a person's winterized their house or airlocked their house from freezing. It's a very rock solid way to go. So if people are going to go on vacation or go away for an extended amount of time during January and February, I'd recommend they contact a plumber, have it airlocked. And even if it's not an abnormal year, it's a good policy and protection for them to do that anyway.
All right, great. Vernell Roberts is my guest today on Hometown Happenings. We're going to take a quick break and be back with more after this. Welcome back to Hometown Happenings. I'm Carol McCarthy here with Vernell Roberts. He is the General Manager for Detroit Lakes Public Utilities. And Vernell, another thing I wanted you to talk about are some of the things that Detroit Lakes Public Utilities has to offer as far as programs as we're heading into this cold weather season, or anything that citizens of DL need to be aware of.
I'll tell you what, our off-peak heat program is excellent. It's a very, very competitive. Right now, if you're on heating with propane as your primary heat source, you're much better off going to off-peak heat with our electric department. It's much more affordable. The cost recovery to put the capital equipment in and the installation of the off-peak heating system now is a very good cost recovery. You probably get it back in 12 to 18 months the price of propane right now. I'd seriously look, if you're heating with propane, you really need to look at off-peak heat programs for us with us. It's a very affordable way to heat your home during the wintertime.
Did you have a lot of people switch over last year?
Yes, we have.
Or after last year?
It's been very busy this fall. Our master electricians and our crews have been going out there and installing off-peak systems and load controllers on them. And yeah, we've seen a big rush this fall when it started getting colder. But it's a very, very good way to stabilize your home heating cost and have some options going forward on home heating.
Okay, very good. And some of the other things for 2015 as we head into the new year, any new programs or anything that you're...
Yeah, we've got some new rebates coming out for LED lighting. So if you want to do a retrofit in your home or business for LED lights, we're offering rebates. And get a hold of Josh Mason, our energy services representative for that. He'll get everybody the information. Same thing if you're looking at building and remodeling your home for appliances. We've got excellent appliance rebates, rebates on Energy Star appliances. That's a good way to save some money on some better appliances and save some energy at the same method. Really good programs there for new home and residential construction. We offer good programs.
The LED doesn't cover businesses?
No, we actually have LED lighting retrofit programs for commercial businesses as well.
Right. And
Central Market and some of our other larger customers have taken advantage of that, and it's worked out well for them.
Okay, all right. And anything else? How about any other things for new homes? Or Raina's giving us the 1-minute signal. So.
Okay. No, one thing's coming up, home electrical safety for holiday electrical safety. You know, everybody's going to be putting up Christmas decorations. You know, think about proper use of extension cords and be aware of home holiday safety. Don't put any fire hazards in your home with extension cords, and watch out for the dry Christmas trees and all that. Okay. Have a safe and happy holidays, and if you need anything for energy needs, give us a call. Detroit Lakes Public Utilities would be glad to work with people. All right, Vernell, thank you so much for talking with me today. Thanks for having me. And that's going to wrap up Hometown Happenings, or listen to Hodgepodge weekdays Monday through Friday at 8:30. Vernell Roberts, Carol McCarthy for Hometown Happenings.